Okay, Kar Halalim Ra Yahweh Bashim Yashar Bashim Rahakodash, and double honors to great most of the apostles, and shalom to the Akim out there who keep persevering and keep doing the works week in, week out, and keep pretty much teaching other Akim you need to increase their understanding. And yeah, Father Yashar, Father Yah for giving me the power in order to make this video. And yeah, Kar. So this is the part 2 to the second encounter with an angel. I just want to continue on really. So I think the last video I mentioned Malachi 1 verse 4, but I was supposed to read Malachi chapter 1 verse 14 when it pertains to how the heathens can't really call upon the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. So it says here, Malachi 1 verse 14, but cursed be the deceiver which hath in his flock a male and voweth and sacrificeth unto the Lord a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith the Lord of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen. So of course, as we know, Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, those two names, Yahweh Yahshai, those are dreadful among the heathen. Which is why if they really misplay those names, they can get judged literally by the second. And we're coming into that time where, as I said before in the previous video, we may even see a heathen getting judged right then and there. So that's why we also ourselves, being close to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, being Israelites, obviously it's holy people, we're supposed to also fear the names Yahweh Yahshai, not take them too lightly. So let's see another scripture as well. I think this was relating to I don't know if I read it before, but pertaining to the 7-foot beings, because as we know, we were very tall back in those ancient days. That's what the angel mentioned. It says in, I think I mentioned this scripture before, but if I didn't, might as well read it again. So Matthew chapter 6 verse 27. Can any, let me actually get the right scripture. It was King James Version. So look here. It says, which of you, this is Matthew chapter 6 verse 27, which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit onto his stature? And obviously that's pertaining to your height, and also spiritual power as well. Imagine just being able to think that you're 7 foot, then you just turn 7 foot. That's the type of spiritual power that's coming as well. Because that's what Yahushua was saying amongst his brethren. Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit onto his stature? So that type of spiritual power where we can add on to our height is coming as well. Even those new bodies as well, naturally is going to be a certain height, which is above all the heathens. That's the faith that we have as well. But it says, as the angel says, we were like 7 foot tall. As we know, those new bodies, we are going to be taller. So that's the scripture right there pertaining to that. And yeah, another scripture as well. Actually, not another scripture, but rather another point that the angel mentioned was that when Esau basically went up in the heavens, when I say up in the heavens, is like between the firmament level, between the first and the second heaven, between like around space, but not close to earth, essentially. Yaratazar Yakim understand. But basically like the outer atmosphere of earth, let's say that, yeah, Khan. He said when Esau went up there, he saw dark melanated beings up there. And that goes into the fact that there's many angels. There's many angels, those of which they have the different responsibilities. Angels literally right there, just be watching, simply doing the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. While there are also other angels that are assigned to other brothers that are on earth right now in order to protect them and also to guide them as well. It is ultimately doing the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. So let me actually get to Psalms 68. Psalm 68 verse 17. That goes into chariots and the angels. So it says in Psalm 68 verse 17, the chariots of Yahweh are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Sinai in the holy place. So as we know, there's even thousands of angels. And with these angels as well, each of them assigned to their specific role. It could be a group of angels in order to pretty much keep creating the universe. There could be a group of angels as well who are assigned, as I said before, assigned to certain arcane right now in this day, in this time period that we're in, because we know we're in a time where there's going to be a transition from a transition of rulership from one people to another, from Esau to Jacob. So that's the type of time that will come into. But the point is, there's many angels with different roles assigned to do Yahweh Shem Yahshai's will. So that's it. That's the main point right there. And so Esau ain't gonna win no battle, because we know there are more of us than them. It says even thousands of angels. And pertaining to that scripture where there's more of us than them, that goes into 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 16. And he answered, fear not. And this is basically advice for the elect, for the hopeful elect as well. The Aratazar will be part of the elect. So it says in 2 Kings 6 verse 16, and he answered, fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. So of course, in the time to come where there's going to be that battle, that final World War III, there's going to be way more angels and way more angels, of course. As we know, there's even thousands of angels, and also way more on our side basically than on Esau's side, which is why the battle's already won before it even began, because we already know there's more of us than they that be with them, they that be with Esau, the enemy. So that's why we got to keep having our faith, man. We're not alone. The Elohim are always around us, man. The powers, the angels are always around us. Always have faith. So that pretty much goes into that point right there. The angels are everywhere. Though you can't see them physically, they're still there, doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Let's see, what other point did the angel mention as well? Yeah, I can still keep recording. What did he mention? He says here, in one of the points, I don't know if I did mention this in the other video. Oh yeah, I'll mention this point right here. He says in that realm, I think in the other video I mentioned the fact that the angel mentioned that he wasn't here currently, like he wasn't physically here on earth currently, but rather he was in the upper realm. And then when he was saying he was in another realm, he was pointing upwards, and that's pertaining to the heavens. That's where the angels dwell, in the fourth dimension, to say. So, and he said in that realm as well, he told me that they don't really walk as much. They walk sometimes, but they don't walk as much. And they pretty much just fly and glide. Then when you mentioned that, wait, let me see. He said it doesn't walk as much, but sometimes he walks. Yeah, can't. So he says sometimes he walks, but mainly what they do up there is pretty much glide and fly. So we're returning into that state where we're going to be gliding, flying. We wouldn't need to walk as much as well. And that's going into those new bodies too. Also spiritual power, because in these times as well where Yahweh Shem Yahshai is going to lift up that standard, Yahweh Tazar, if he puts us in that position where we need that spiritual power, then yeah, he's going to lift up that standard, and some brothers are going to be flying in that day. Like, if the news is even still existing in that day, they may report it if they even catch one of their elects flying. But yeah, let's get into that scripture. It says, Isaiah chapter 59 verse 19, so shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai shall lift up a standard against him. So obviously this standard is going to be lifted up. So of course, as we know, it's within us right now. That spiritual power is within us. It just needs to get turned on, which is what we're waiting for. And that moment is when the standard is going to be lifted, where we're actually going to need it. So of course, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we've got to keep having faith in them. And Yahweh Tazal, that we get that standard lifted up. And of course, whoever Aki may be saved in that day as well, because you know, as this standard is being lifted as well, it's also to glorify the names Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And of course, as we glorify those names, we're also bringing other new brothers into the truth, which will probably be part of the elect Yahweh Tazar, part of the 1/3, as we go into Zechariah chapter 13 verse 8. But continuing on into the testimony as well, so that's pretty much pertaining to spiritual power. And another point linking to that, the angel also mentioned that we were the actual superheroes, because he said, when I said, so we can fly, we can run, we can manipulate matter. For each spiritual power that I mentioned, fly, run, sparks, and also manipulate matter, he nodded his head, saying yes, for each form of spiritual power that I mentioned. So of course, again, that's confirmation from the angel himself. There are obviously from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua ultimately that spiritual power is coming. We just have to have that patience, and Yahweh Tazar, he will lift up that standard, which is the faith that we have. Going into Hebrews 11 verse 1. Let's get into Hebrews. Gotta have this faith, man. That spiritual power is definitely gonna come. Because for those of you who think that the power ain't gonna come, if the power wasn't gonna come, how are we gonna be saved? Obviously, there's also other forms as well, like angels can come in order to save us through miracles. But that's also one of the methods as well. Like there has to be a certain level, certain amount of Akim brothers that are going to be getting that spiritual power in that time, starting from the apostles of Great Most on down, those preaching this truth. So it says here in Hebrews 11 verse 1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And obviously we know that we have faith in the spiritual power to come in this standard that's going to be lifted. So of course that alone is the evidence of what's not seen yet but will be seen eventually. So basically I'm saying, because right now we're in this state where we have a low level, we still have a certain level of spiritual power in order to break down the scriptures, in order to bring these edifying videos. Yahweh Tazar can be learning from them as well. But then there's going to be another level of spiritual power where we're pretty much going to make the world marvel from the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Because as I said before, it's only to glorify Yahweh Yahushua. That's why that spiritual power will then be granted unto those who have faith and fear within them. So so that spiritual power right there, I think let's see if I mentioned that point already about the Elohim creating the universe and the earth, pertaining to Apostle Tahar's breakdown of Genesis 1. When it's going on to the next point, so he basically that the angel, he warned me saying I need to be careful of who I approach when preaching the truth. And as we're at the highways, as we're out there in the highways and byways, in the marketplaces, occasionally you might have some demons enter some heathens or some Israelites as well, just to flipping distract you from camp. Which obviously we need to stay in our right minds and stay in that disciplined mindset to try and keep the camp consistent. I'd rather just keep the flow of the spirit consistent, really, because sometimes these demons can get distracting. So yeah, he pretty much warned me saying that I need to be careful who I approach when preaching the truth, because obviously not everyone can call upon the names Yahweh, Yahushua. Of course, not everyone will also have that spirit of understanding, that to basically understand the truth of being an Israelite, and also how we're supposed to conduct ourselves under Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So that's also the warning right there. So also for Yakim as well, you just gotta be careful who you preach this truth onto. So because we're getting into those times where Esau's pretty much gonna come in as a flood, in it, as it says in Isaiah chapter 59 verse 19. And yeah, we just have to be careful in it. Walk circumspectly. So that's that point. Let's see. He said Khan, and then basically before I realized it was an angel, when I saw him as a typical Israelite, and also another fact before I continue on that point, the way the angel looked, he was as a homeless man, but also I could tell he was from the tribe of Benjamin, from the tribe of Bunyamin. So Khan, that's just a point I want to mention out there in terms of his appearance. Because he came in a lowly state. He didn't come in this like over prideful state of Israel. No, this was actually a lowly state. And as we know, angels can come in that lowly state in order to communicate with you. So lucky I got disturbed there, but let's try and continue on. Yeah, Khan, so pretty much he was from the tribe of Bunyamin, from the tribe of Benjamin. That was the way he looked from the outside. And he was in a lowly appearance as a homeless man. And what else? Yeah, Khan, so that's pretty much his appearance right there. Khan, and one point that he mentioned was he said he already before I realized he was an angel, when I was preaching onto him like a normal Israelite about the mark of the beast, he said to me that he already conquered the mark of the beast, also saying the juice is to kill off and weaken our people. The medical system is used to make our people sick. As we know, that goes into Job 13 verse 4, that Esau is a physician of no value. And yeah, I'm going to elaborate on what that point that he said, where he said he's already conquered the mark of the beast. Because low-key, as I realized when he was an angel, which there was different signs as I mentioned in the previous video, in the part 1, how I noticed that he was an angel. First of all, through his age, when he mentioned his spiritual age, about reincarnation as well, and also about Israelites too. But let me actually read the scripture. It says in Job 13 verse 4, but ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. That's pertaining to Esau Edom right there. Because he did say just now in one of the points that the juice, I'm saying juice right now, but he did mention the actual name. The juice is to kill off and weaken our people, and the medical system is used to make our people sick. So of course that's what we need to avoid really. We need to not trust our enemy. That goes into 2nd Esdras. Never trust thine enemy. 2nd Esdras or Sirach, I think. Sirach chapter 12. Verse 10. Never trust thine enemy. I'm probably going to have to do a part 3 because of the fact that my storage is so low. Because it's about to be cut off. But anyways, Shalom, okay, I'm going to have to do a part 3. Okay, that's the part 2 right there. Yeah, Ratazar, I'm going to continue on and then finish off with the part 3. Yeah, Ratazar, if there's a part 4 needed, then I can't. But yeah, Yahabashim Yashab Raktham Kim Waka Halalim La Yahabashim Yashab Bashir Hakudash, double honest great Muslim apostles. Shalom.